Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Leo energy, and like usual we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be high vibe Leo energy. The bottom row is going to be a more worldly, shadowy Leo energy. We all have this dualistic nature within us. We have free will. We have to make choices. Some people are struggling within themselves. They might like to move forward in their life differently, but in their worldly kind of shadowy nature, there's these things that we don't want to detach from. We all like to stay in our comfort zone. And some of the things that we might be invested in look really good by worldly standards, but, it can be a job we don't really like, or it could be a relationship or some type of friendship dynamic that we're kind of unhappy with. But in order to kind of detach from that, we, have to kind of give up some of the benefits or friendship or job. And so some people could be struggling within themselves. But there are other people that have gone through the debate within themselves, and they are deciding to move forward in life differently. We heal, we grow, we mature, we expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us. And sometimes when some people are moving forward differently, some of the people in their life aren't willing to move forward with them in that way because they just don't view life that way, or you've changed, you're not the same person that you were before, So then the bottom row could represent other people in the world or other people in our life that aren't moving forward with us because we have different things we're motivated and inspired by. And so we're going to look at it from that perspective too. Let me turn down the camera here. And we all tap into Leo energy just like we tap into all the zodiac sign traits and characteristics in one of these various ways on the spectrum of having learned lessons in life. And listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story, how you harness your Leo energy. If you harness high vibe Leo energy, you'd probably want to be in relationships with other people who do, but some people in your life don't. So listen to your intuition about where they're at in the story. The overarching reason for the reading for the high vibe people is the beginnings card. And you could have dealt with some people that are going on their own new beginnings also, or they want to have a new beginning, maybe still living life the way they've lived it. And the reason for the bottom row's reading is the masculine. And the way I read tarot, we all take action, and it's considered masculine energy in the world, how we kind of present ourselves in the world and how we take action in the world. And it can also represent us operating from our more worldly, egoic nature. So you could have been, we all have these things of the world that we'd like to indulge in or keep living our life that way. But shadowy energy can mean that it's become stagnant or dead, nothing new to learn there. It's become confusing. We come into contact with all these different people in the world to help us get clear about our truth. And we could live our life a certain way, and we could have thought that was great and wonderful. But then maybe as time goes by, it's kind of like listening to our intuition that it's time to move forward in life, shed some of the old ways of viewing life, ways of viewing ourselves, some of our fears, our insecurities, and our self-limiting beliefs, and face our fears about moving forward in life, having some more hope and faith and belief that we can go to the next level of life, just like we did age 15, 18, 21, and 25. But sometimes when we're ready to move forward in life differently, some people, getting in your ego can be that, you just have some fear and insecurity of maybe stepping outside your comfort zone, or it would require you to kind of look at life differently. So let's go look at the bottom row first. What people could be tempted by to stay within. We have the fruition card, a card not showing itself, attraction, the path, and discernment. The discernment card can kind of be where, we don't want to see the truth. The truth sets us free to live our life differently, but we all come into enlightenment about things at different stages in our life, and maybe we healed something from our past pain and heartbreak. And maybe some of the other people in our life haven't worked through some of their past pain and heartbreak. So they're still living their life a certain way because they haven't freed themselves from those things. So, we all have these things of the world that manipulate us: our fear, our insecurity, our pride, our ego, our immature nature, our indulgent nature, our selfish nature. And then other people got other traits and characteristics that manipulate them. They could be bossy or controlling or manipulative, self-centered, egotistical, lazy, immature. We've all got lessons to learn in life. And some people have learned some lessons that some other people haven't learned yet. And then we can get in a relationship with them. The fruition card is kind of like a new beginning. We can be attracted to people. We think we have the same end goal. But then maybe we weren't listening to our intuition with the discernment card. And we got to learn lessons about listening to our intuition. Our intuition could have been screaming at us sometimes when we got in certain situations in our life. But the masculine energy can represent us in our more worldly egoic nature, and we kind of want what we want. And sometimes our intuition was saying, I don't think you should do that. I don't think that's a good idea. And we said, I'm going to go do it anyway. We got lessons to learn. So then we can get in these situations in life, and maybe what we weren't seeing was that we harness this energy differently. We get in these friendships or relationships with people, and we can have a lot of commonality in a lot of ways. There could be certain goals and things that we enjoy together, activities or hobbies, or we're both attracted to each other. But we think other people then are like us, and the things that drive and motivate them are the same things that drive and motivate us. But it could have something to do with this card here. What is it? Extremes. Well, shadowy energy can be people kind of creating an illusion that they're more healed or grown or mature than they are. And some people are willing to go to the extremes in having hope and faith and belief in themselves. Like, I want to keep shedding layers of my fear and my insecurity and my past pain and heartbreak. And to other people, that can seem extreme. It's like, why are you just let it go? It's like, well, we can kind of, quote, let it go and like put it in a box in the corner of our mind, but it still can impact the decisions that we make. So some people are really determined, like, not like they maybe consciously think that, but they could constantly be people who are working on those issues, because we could kind of look at the extremes card as like the devil card. We all can get in relationships with people, and we've all got our own issues that we need to deal with, right? And some people could have less or more issues than some other people that kind of trigger them about what they're motivated and inspired by. And again, some people could be really motivated and inspired that I want to work through my issues. And you could get in relationships with people and they don't know, because they could be the exact opposite. I have my issues too, and I'm not planning to deal with them ever. They do go in a box back in the corner of my mind. And so sometimes, we're kind of have these extreme views of life. And extremes can be too that we had lessons to learn from people that we got in a relationship where we were going to kind of go out to the edge, because we've all got these lessons to learn, to get, let's see, the opposite sign of Leo is Aquarius, which could kind of be this card about what is our dream. And one could be motivated and inspired to get out of their more fear, insecurity, pride, ego, immature, indulgent nature to grow to their full potential. And the other person can be completely happy, making their life more about ego or image or status or money. And we didn't realize we were kind of on opposite extremes. And by getting in this relationship, it kind of pushed us to the edge of really, we had to pick a path. And maybe, there were these things that we wanted in the world, but we didn't know. It maybe could have really challenged us in our Leo energy. What is my truth? I have these things of the world that I want in my worldly nature. I have these things that I want. But how far am I willing to go for those? And some people are like, I do want those things of the world. And I could love people, like my job. But I have this dream. And even though I really want those things, and I would really like that to work out, if I'm in a relationship with someone and theirs is more about the things of the world or about them and them being indulged, where it's like, because Leo energy is represented by like the Six of Wands of what do we view as victory and success? And it challenges us to, am I willing to stay in something, sacrifice maybe my dreams, because shadowy energy, again, can be where I feel limited or oppressed or confined or restricted, where I can't really be more authentically myself, or I can't shine my own unique light, or there's no, say, a job where there's no room for advancement. But there might be a lot of reasons why we would like to stay in the job, because if we don't kind of stay in our ego about it, or our fear, or our defensiveness, or something, we're going to have to become independent of it with the sovereignty card. And we could have just been in more codependent energy. And we'd have to learn to love ourselves with the nourishment card, emotionally water our own world instead of being in relationships with people where we kind of look to them. I want you to love me. And then I don't have to learn to love myself. And we could have gotten in relationships because we had those lessons to learn. And we could have, again, gotten in relationships with people who don't want to become more independent of maybe their more codependent nature on other people, on the world, to validate their worth and value. And other people are like, I don't like feeling like I'm manipulated by the world. And you might be pretty codependent on the world to validate your worth and value, but I don't think I should have to chase after things for people to validate my worth and value. I want to be independent in the world, to be able to be more authentically myself. And that's what high vibe energy is about. Being independent, knowing your worth and value, freeing yourself from things that try to manipulate you. Our ego and our fear and our mind that was made to protect us tries to manipulate us. Let's just do this. Let's keep doing this. Let's not become more independent in the world. Let's not give birth to anything new. Let's keep doing life the way we've done it, because otherwise we'd have to go into unknown territory, and we've never been out there before. But the high vibe people are like, I'm starting to feel like, I got caught up in the illusion. I listened to my own shadowy nature. And I thought I could do these things that I wanted and that it would make me happy. But I'm realizing it didn't quite hit the mark. Something's wrong here. And some people then, when we get in the top row, did this work within themselves. And they kind of want to be in the light. This It's kind of in the dark, a nighttime scene. And we can all kind of get caught, and the moon can talk about getting caught up in illusion. Maybe I did make my worth and value based on what I wore, what I drive, what I looked like, how much money I had, if I was in a relationship, if that validated that I had worth and value, or, when am I going to be more independent, love and believe in myself, that just living a life of illusion about this is what makes me important, this is what gives me worth and value, look, I found someone to love me. Am I going to stay in something more out of pride and ego and codependency and fear or money or materialism or status or image? Even though what other people might not know is that there could be, just that you could have found that you kind of got in a relationship with someone, where you're motivated and inspired by different things in life. There could have been a lot of common goals that you wanted, but it'd be like getting a job. Yes, I want a job. Oh, great. This is my career field. Yay, this is what I love. I actually could even love the job. But say you're working with people, but they're very petty or immature or bossy or controlling. And, they think it's just and fair. You should want to keep staying there. And it's like, we kind of, our idea of what is victorious and successful in the workplace and how to motivate and inspire people, or what seems wonderful, is completely different, And people who like to work with people who are more stable, more grounded, more supportive, encouraging, just, fair, they might say, it doesn't matter how much you pay me. I cannot stay here. You people are very egotistical or shadowy, We're kind of aligning with people in our life. We have our dualistic nature, so does everybody else. And if we find ourselves in a mismatched relationship, we're kind of in relationship with some people. If we're motivated by love, we're in relationship with people who maybe aren't very loving. Might have been wearing a mask when we got in the relationship. Live more from their mind than their heart. We're telling us that, oh, by the way, I am extremely bossy or controlling or prideful or self-centered or all about myself. And the way I view it as victorious is we move forward with me being able to manipulate you or control you or abuse you or whatever the case is. That's my idea of the dream job, the dream friendship, the dream relationship. I like it just like that. And initially, sometimes we know it right away and we get out of those situations right away. But sometimes it doesn't show itself till much later. Because again, everybody can wear a mask. Everybody can work cooperatively together in jobs, in friendships, in relationships. We're both wanting whatever this common goal is, which could just be, we have a lot of commonality in a lot of ways and we like being friends. We have the same hobbies, or we're in a romantic relationship. We like each other. But then if some people start to do this work within themselves, to learn to love and believe in themselves and heal and grow and mature themselves, they're not the same person they were when they got in the relationship. And sometimes that's when someone's kind of more shadowy nature will come out, because they don't like that the people they got in a relationship aren't the same as they were when they got in it. And we might not have known, sometimes we can equally be out of balance. So kind of worldly shadowy energy can be that we're tipped out of balance in some way. We equally could have been out of balance for some of the same reasons, like immaturity and indulgence. And then one person decided, I'm finding it confusing. I'm finding I'm not attaining my goals and I need to do this work within myself. Well, then some of the people we used to hang out with maybe won't want to hang out with us anymore because we're kind of not indulging in certain things the way we used to indulge in certain things. But we can also get relationships where one person was more of a loving, giving, nurturing person, and the other person's like, yeah, I like that. And, sometimes we can be over giving because love is supposed to be just and fair. But some people that are very high vibe Leo, very loving, very encouraging, very giving, very warm, wanting to help other people, wanting to inspire other people. Sometimes they can get in relationships with people who like, of course, being in a relationship with someone like that. But we maybe weren't seeing and wanting in the discernment card to really see the truth that that's not really who they are. Or they could have seemed like we're all on the same page, but then maybe as time goes by and maybe we're becoming just more independent within ourselves and maybe wanting a more reciprocal relationship where it seems like, you treat me the way I treat you, and I like to have my cup filled emotionally periodically too. I mean, even people who are loving, giving people, even though they can replenish themselves because they're in high vibe energy with hope and faith and belief and love, even they start to feel depleted after a while. It's like, I would like someone to nurture me the way I nurture you and give to me and be as open or giving or warm as I am. I would like to be in a relationship with someone like that too. But that's when we can kind of realize someone's more independent in their free will from their more loving, nurturing nature, connecting in with their emotions and their intuition on a deeper level. And they did decide to align with and maybe always were a little bit more about themselves. And they liked the relationship the way it was and they wanted to stay that way. Because in order for them to be different than they are, they would have to do this work within themselves to figure out, why am I not that kind of person? And some people don't want to bother, you have to, Leo is fire sign energy about motivation and inspiration. You have to even be motivated and inspired to even want to figure out, why am I not more giving of myself or more authentic or more loving or nurturing? And we got to accept people have their dispositions and how they like to live their life, and to try to change someone's philosophy of self. you know I think we learn lessons in listening to our intuition as time goes by. We Shadow energy can be that we're repeating a pattern. We could be used to being in relationships where we play that role in people's lives, and maybe we're not used to being in relationships with people who treat us the way we treat them, and it is our comfort zone. But after a while, we can get kind of tired of that pattern and we kind of want to move forward differently. And that's when some of the people in our life, we find out that they don't like that. You were supposed to stay just like you were when we met, because I'm staying just like I was when we met. And they didn't think you were going to change, and you could have been hoping they were going to change. And again, with the extremes card here, sometimes some people view themselves as a very loving, nurturing person, but they only are that loving, nurturing person so long as you stay the same. If you start to become more independent and heal and grow and mature yourself and love yourself, well, then you're different than you were before. And then they cannot like that because you are moving forward in life differently. And every relationship has to be balanced, either equally out of balance or balanced at whatever stage of life of growing and healing and maturity level. And if one person changes, it changes the whole dynamic. And then it can cause conflict in a relationship. And some people who are unwilling to move forward in life differently, if they're very kind of all about their ego and their image and, shadowy energy and shadowy Leo, it can be about competition. Someone's the winner, someone's the loser. Why isn't it we have different opinions in life and we're driven and motivated by different things? They're an okay person, I'm an okay person. Let's just part ways. We kind of found out we've changed, but for some people who their whole sense of worth and value is based on their ego or their image and how people view them in the world, if they in their mind think, well, you became more independent, you healed, you grew, you expanded your perception of the world, you're more willing to be more authentically yourself or have learned to love yourself. They don't want people to know that they weren't willing to kind of grow or heal or mature themselves or detach from some of these shadowy traits or characteristics that they have. And what we maybe didn't realize is that some of those people that are very much about their ego and their image, and that's where they derive their sense of worth and value, they can go to extremes. If the people in their life want to become independent of them, you have to be the loser. Because there's only, in their mind, winners and losers. And they need to be the winner. And they could go to a lot of effort, maybe taking action out of pride and ego, to try to confuse people about the truth of who you are, because they don't want people to know that they weren't willing to kind of work cooperatively with people in a more just or fair or loving or more emotionally mature way. That would, and then they don't want to see the truth, probably, that they kind of, even they want to stay in denial of their shadowy traits and characteristics. They want other people to stay in denial of their shadowy traits and characteristics. And part of that can be trying to confuse people about the truth of who you were, saying you're prideful, you're egotistical, you're materialistic, you're bossy, you're controlling, basically project all their negative traits and characteristics onto you. Let's go look at the top row. At what time are we going to look at life differently? At what time are we going to start to have more hope and faith and belief in ourselves? Some people, when they got in these jobs, friendships, and relationships, they thought it was going to stay maybe that way all the time too. It could have been just as unexpected to them that, wow, this tree is this picture is kind of interesting. It's kind of like looking at the world, and we view the world a certain way, and it's kind of the trees in the forest, and we start, as we go through life more and we learn more lessons, if you were to look at the people as the trees in the world, because the tree is like our tree of life, the foundation of how we grow our life and build our life upon. We could all been kind of naive and gullible, and we had a lot of lessons to learn about discernment. And we can tend to think again that other people are motivated and inspired by the same things we are, and then we realize, oh, some people don't even want to do love. And you could think, oh my gosh, I love this person, and if I love this person, of course this person's going to choose love. And some people are like, no, I'm not doing love. I could get hurt doing that. I'll be in a relationship with you. I'll indulge in a relationship with you. I'll enjoy being in a relationship with you. But for me to more authentically, that's high vibe Leo, to authentically let my more creative, inspired, authentic, loving nature out into the world, no, that's not going to happen. Male or female? Nope. I do not become independent of my defensive egoic nature. It makes me feel safe and secure. And I let my ego and my defensive nature to being hurt run my life. Like I said, I'll be in a relationship. I could be in a relationship with you for decades. I could marry you. I could have children with you. But to become independent of my more egoic defensive nature and learn to love myself so I can give and receive and love other people in the world, no. And we can see, when you kind of put it in that context, I mean, we've all probably been defensive in our life, defensive of being hurt, and we don't see how kind of self-interested that is, especially if you know that you're that type of person and you get in relationships with people and it's like, yeah, no, I'm not really going to let my more authentic, loving, vulnerable nature out to play in the world. And some people, they're waiting till they find someone who is more independent, knows how to fill their own cup, isn't going to try to manipulate them in some way. And when they find someone who is more independent and knows how to fill their own cup and more stable and grounded within themselves, where they're not going to try to take from them, then they would maybe be willing to do that, or at least they tell themselves that. Then they get in a situation where that opportunity can arise, and then it's like, guess I'm not. But it could have been unexpected to even the people who did start to look at life differently. It's like, wow, I never thought I'd get over some of those fears or insecurities or self-limiting beliefs. But I started to put in, that was the difference. The other people never got past whatever it was that was blocking them to be willing to put in this work and effort to even figure out, why don't I view life differently? Why do I view myself this way? Why do I view the world this way? Why don't I have more hope and faith and belief in myself? And, it could have been as shocking and surprising and the unexpected card to them as it was to other people in their life. Wow, they're looking at life differently. And kind of realizing that, we are these complex human beings, that we could all look like trees in the forest in a way. And in a lot of ways we can look alike, and we can kind of have, if we're in relationships or we're married and we got the 2.3 kids, or we got a job, or you're an accountant, or you're a nurse, or you're a CNA, or you work at Burger King, whatever it is, that as time goes by, we start to realize those more subtle differences between people. I mean, we did know the big differences in people before in different ways, but then we can really get down to fine-tuning the subtle differences. And it's just another stage of life that we're going through, that we, really fine-tuning what our truth is, what kind of foundation, and how we want to move forward in life versus, so much can seem like it should be the thing just right in a way, with normal humanness in it. But there's that subtle difference maybe of who's willing to keep growing and healing and maturing themselves and expanding their perception of themselves and the world around them, and who's not. And it could have been, we'll ask in a minute what this unexpected was. And then it's this realization that, I just view life differently than I used to view it before. We viewed life differently at age 15 than we do at age 25. We didn't know at 15 that we were going to look at life differently, that much differently, when we were 25, of what we believed was possible. And also, with this looking like a keyhole in a door, is kind of realizing in our more worldly codependent energy, we can look outside of ourselves for the answer. Isn't it the drugs or the booze or being in a relationship or a job or all these things? Those things are going to make me happy. And then it's kind of realizing that it starts within me, like me giving birth to me. High vibe Leo energy, being more authentically yourself. Stepping outside the fears, the insecurities, the illusions we have about ourselves in the world. And kind of wanting and having a desire to want to free ourselves in the purity card. You know, we all get imprinted upon basically in the world. We grow up in families and communities and countries and things that have this way of viewing life, and all the people in our life have their ideas of philosophies of life and how people should live their life and what's right and what's wrong and what's good and what's bad. And we kind of start to question those things. You know, what's my truth? Where did all these things come from? When did I get, and I don't have to point blame on people, but maybe when did I give up on my dreams? When did I not pursue things anymore? And then we go through this process of clearing away the clutter to get down to our truth and align in the trust card with our more authentic nature, with the animals there. And then this kind of pictures here is interesting. Underneath that globe, that clear glass is like, it looks like a man and a woman hugging, and it's like our emotional nature kind of detaching from our more worldly egoic view of life and looking at life from a different perspective, realizing our intuition was given to us as a gift, that we do have our own unique journey to go on in life. We do have our own soul calling. So it's kind of like an egg giving birth to our more authentic nature, where a lot of our early life, we're trying to fit in. We want people to view us a certain way. We want people to like us. And hopefully once we, feel like we're in some relationships that are providing, or community or whatever, that are providing us some stability and security and love and encouragement in our life, we're kind of ready to give birth to something new. That would be the normal going with the flow of the cycle of life, that we shed an old layer, just like we did age 15, going to 18, going to age 21. It's kind of like always giving birth to kind of like a new us. Like, I was 15, but now I've learned these lessons. Now I'm going to be 18, and now I'm going to face my fears to detach from that old way of viewing life, shed my old skin. And I'm going to give birth to facing my fears to believe that I can move forward. I look at the will card as like a 6 of Wands. I believe I can move forward victoriously. And I can master that next level of life. I feel like I've learned the lessons, everything I needed to learn at this phase of life. If I keep living at that one phase of life and viewing life that way, it might be because my ego is afraid of becoming independent from living my life that way, because it requires me to love and believe in myself and do this inner work to love and believe in myself to move forward in life differently. And I'd have to become independent of that old way of life. Again, okay, I was a 15-year-old. Now I'm not going to go back to acting like a 15-year-old when I'm now like an 18-year-old. I put that old way behind. And, some people get to a certain stage of life and their dream life was, I'm going to get to a certain age. I'm out in the world of adults. I can blend in anywhere on the spectrum of how people live life as an adult. I can find my particular slot in there of what my idea of is okay for me. We know some people that are very ambitious and they're very motivated and, oh my gosh, they want to be the best in their profession. And other people are like, I'm not that motivated. I'm just okay living my life whatever way I want to live my life, right? But we can still, at whatever stage of life of our drive and our motivation and our ambition in life, still want to heal and grow and mature ourselves and not be manipulated by our fear and our insecurity and our codependent nature. No matter how we live our life, there's fears and insecurities that bubble up. And some people just could have decided, this is how I wanted to live my life. I didn't have a desire to even want to live my life differently. I'm okay living my life like this, and we get in relationships with people, and it's like forever. Kind of makes me think of when I was like young and high school and after high school ages, where partying with some people, and people be like, "Oh, I can't wait till I have kids, and I want to do this with them," and I'm like, what? I kind of just view this as a phase of life that we're in right now. Do I plan to be living like this? And then when my kids are this age, hanging out with them really and doing this? No. And some of those people did live their life like that. And, they're still living their life like that. And to each their own. But sometimes we're just on different pages with people. So, and high vibe energy, life-giving energy wants to keep giving birth to new things, just like we were cave people one day, and look at all the things that humankind has created by listening to their intuition and their creativity and their imagination and their unique talent, skills, and interests. We had people who figured out astrology and all these things about bugs and flowers and math and sciences and cell phones and lighting and indoor plumbing. I am so grateful those people didn't do it. I'm grateful they did do what they did instead of, we have to have people in the world that are willing to give birth to new things. Otherwise, we all keep repeating an old pattern. And some people might particularly like to repeat an old pattern because it benefits them, it really works for them. And then, we can have conflict and uprising in the world because some of the other people are like, that might work for you if everybody lived life like that, but I want to become independent of that, and I would like us to be more just, more fair, more loving. I don't feel it's benefiting me as much as it might benefit you. And same way, people who are kind of got some shadowy traits and characteristics, they like to operate like that in a relationship, and they like people to indulge them that way in a relationship. It works for them, but it might not work for the people that they're in a relationship with, Yeah, I know you like being bossy. Yes, I know you like it being all about you. Yes, I know you're a petty whatever type of person, whatever, blah, blah, the list goes on. And you might like that. You're going to have to go find someone else because I'm becoming independent of you. Some people already did that. Some people are still in it. And it can just be how they don't realize their own shadow nature manipulates them. But when our own shadowy nature of fear, insecurity, pride, ego, codependency, not feeling good enough, there's people in the world that are happy to be in a relationship with us because we feel that way. And then some people could kind of wonder, is this how I wanted to live my life? Why am I living my life this way? Why don't I live my life differently? Why don't I have hope and faith and belief? And they do this work within themselves. And I look at the abundance card, kind of like the sovereignty card, as harnessing high vibe Virgo. I did the inner work to invest in looking at the things I preferred to keep hidden in the dark, to offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness, to appreciate myself, to love myself. I have the free will. I can belittle and berate myself all day if I want. There's a whole bunch of people in the world who would join in with me. Or I can choose to offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness for being a fallible human being who had lessons learned, that made mistakes. And I don't want to keep living my life like that or making those same mistakes. And I am motivated to grow and heal and mature myself. And then there's people in the world that would be happy to be in a relationship with us because we did do that. You know, who are we? What thoughts and emotions are we going to choose to sit in every day? What people are we going to invest our time, energy, and effort into? Who are the people who are encouraging us to listen to our intuition, to love and believe in ourselves, to be more independent, to listen to our intuition, to believe in our unique talent, skills, and interests? And who are the people in our life who might be trying to control us and confuse us about the truth, about ourselves, and about who they are? Because they don't want us to do life differently, because they're not going to do life differently. And it maybe makes them happy that we align with them, let them manipulate us, let them be bossy and controlling of us, even if that person is just a family member or a friend. But we can also get, you know, people who want to be in a romantic relationship could like us to view ourselves a certain way. Because if we didn't view ourselves that way, we'd probably go get in a relationship with someone else. So who is trying to stop us from being more independent and loving and believing in ourselves? And who is? And these things that are unexpected that can happen, life-giving energy represented by God uses all sorts of influences. It's the creative, inspired things in the world. Music, movies, books, art, but also other people. Well, why is that person more confident than me? Why don't I do this inner work to be more confident? You know, we can blame in our shadowy nature, we can point the finger at everybody else. My life sucks and I'm like this because of all you people. And it can be true. People could have done things that were hurtful and unkind and abusive and all those things. But are we going to let people who weren't just and fair and loving dictate the story of our life? And we're like, I'm writing a new fucking chapter. And I'm going to see the truth because the truth sets me free. I see the truth that some people were hurtful and unkind and unjust and unfair. It didn't have anything to do with me. And how it did have to do with me, if it did, I acknowledge my part in it. Okay, I was immature. Okay, I was a brat. Okay, I was whatever. I accept responsibility for my part. And I'm also going to see the truth of the people I was in a relationship with. If they were more just and if they were more motivated to be just and fair, they'd be more just and fair. If they were someone who wasn't wanting to be kind of bossy and controlling, they would have been less bossy and controlling. If they were someone who didn't want it to be more about them than other people, they would have worked cooperatively better with other people, you know? And it's just seeing the truth that everybody's where they're at. I release you. Peace out. You know, I'm moving on. I'm no longer going to be in my ego about it. I'm no longer going to be in my inner conflict about it. I am inspired to be independent of it so I can free myself from it, so I can move forward in life in my truth. And your truth was different than my truth. What you thought was just and fair is different than what I think is just and fair. You do your life. Hope it works out for you. I'm moving forward in life differently. So, well, let's go ask here. For some of the people anyway, I'm sure we can't do something that applies to everyone, but what could be an example of something unexpected? The Two of Swords, because of the Ace of Cups and the Strength card. That is a really good answer. So, we can have all these thoughts and ideas. That would be kind of like the Eight of Swords. All these things that we think we love, all these things we think we want, all these things that we think are just or fair or whatever. But it's kind of the last two, because if we're at an Eight of Swords, which is Gemini energy about what we love, how we view life, you know, all these things, it can be those last two that kind of stop us. Am I going to live my life more about me, more about my defensiveness, more about my ego, more about my fear, more about my codependency. Is that what I'm going to invest my time, energy, and effort into? Or in my free will, I have a dualistic nature. Which one am I going to pick? Am I going to offer love to my world? I might be the only one, but that's okay. I'm the only human being was assigned to at birth. Just heard that line in a movie the other day. I'm going to choose to love me. There comes a time we need to get out of our more codependent energy, and in high vibe Leo energy, I'm going to give myself the things that I wish other people would have given me, and I'm not a child anymore, looking for someone to be like my parent, to love me, to acknowledge my worth and value. I'm supposed to learn to temper my own worldly, beastly nature and love my beastly nature. Offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness so I can let go of the past. And now, instead of staying stuck about how should I live my life, we decide I'm going to listen to my intuition. And my intuition tells me I should love myself. And I'm going to offer love to the past, to the lessons I've had to learn. And I'm going to temper my fears and my insecurities. And I maybe never thought I was going to do that. Other people never thought I was maybe going to do that. I am going to grow up and mature myself. Temper my more worldly, immature, impulsive, bossy, controlling, prideful, self-centered, whatever it is. You know, it's just the people who make the free will choice to do that. So, what's coming up? What's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Leo energy that they might not see coming? The Star and the Judgment card, because the Tower. We all view life a certain way. Oh my gosh, this is the dream way to live life. Oh, this is going to be so great. But then we see there's something wrong at maybe at a core foundational level that isn't aligned with our truth. And we call judgment on it. And we could have been working together with people to build a foundation. And we could have realized we harness our Aquarius energy differently. Or the Tower is Aries and Scorpio energy. And then we're talking about Leo. What is our idea of the dream life? What are we motivated and inspired by? Aries energy is about the self. Were we more about ourselves? Were we in relationships with people who are more about themselves? Were they more about looking like a shining star in the world and that was their end goal? Or was it... And then Scorpio is like, are we kind of more into the emotionally shallow and superficial? Or do we want deep emotional relationships? And there could be something around those aspects of what we view as victorious and successful and the dream life and what we're motivated and inspired by, and emotionally, are we willing to do love or just the illusion of love? And some people saw the truth. And something that they did think would be a dream, they realize that's not a safe and secure and stable environment for me to stay in, because I've seen the truth of either living my life that way, that it wasn't bringing my dream into reality, and then the people I could have been aligning with, or some of the people I was working with or in relationship with. We operate from different foundations, and I need to hold myself accountable, call judgment on my own shadow nature, and decide to have hope and faith and belief in my dreams and look at life from a bigger perspective. I'm probably going to live 80 years. You know, do I think if I get out of one thing right now that over time, as I just go live and enjoy my life in truth and love and justice and fairness, that maybe I'm going to find a new job, a new friend, a new romantic relationship one day? Does it have to be today? No. Let's keep things in perspective. Let's have some hope and faith and belief that if we live our authentic life and we're truthful and we're just and we're fair and we're loving and we're warm, and that the divine has a plan for our life. And if the way we were, if life, I think, is about learning lessons to see the truth, it was meant to be about love. The things of the world are meant to be enjoyed, but they're just meant to be enjoyed from a place of love, so we don't let those things become so important in our life we've lost all perspective. Those things we might want to indulge in, if we make those things, oh no, you're the answer to my problems, whether you're drugs or booze or a relationship, oh my, I couldn't live without you. We've lost perspective. And it can put our life in a little bit of hell and stop us from being the person we were meant to be. If we had chosen to love and believe in ourselves, and we can all go in funks, So I think the high vibe people, as you move forward in this, it's a process to emotionally detach from people. It's one thing to end a situation. It's another thing to be ready to emotionally detach and let that go. And we're ready to go have new beginnings. We've healed. We've made peace with it. We've released it. And then when you do that, there's going to be other people in the world that are on the same page as you. They've went through similar life experiences, and they're going to see you like a dream come true. Because they see that you are not acting like you used to act or like other people in their life act. You have detached from your more illusions about life or relationships or something. And you detach from that foundation, and now you're like a shining star in the world. And you're also being a good example for others. Some people in our life, they also have fears. They have the things that manipulate them, or people in their life that manipulate them, that they don't want to become independent of, because they would have to go through this process and they'd have to take this inspired action to become more independent of those things in the 3D world, of who and what they invest their time, energy, and effort into. But by you doing this, it shows other people how it's done, because some of the people we maybe had to distance ourselves from could know that we love them, that we wanted a dream to come into reality with them, just like they have people in their life that they wish would be more just or fair or less controlling or manipulative or something. And you're kind of showing people how you do it, and they could be shocked that you're doing it. Because again, they could know that you love certain things, you love certain people, but you're keeping your distance from them because they're not acting in a just and fair and authentic and loving way. And then you try to, by example, showing other people how to do that. Maybe some of those people would start to wonder, why don't they do that? Why don't they love and believe in themselves? Why do they let all these things manipulate them, or these people? So, but other people are going to want to be in a relationship with you. The other thing some people don't see coming is that some of the people in their life who they thought were maybe these people that were on the same page as them, that some of those people will go to extremes to try to tear you down. Because if they view themselves a certain way, but you're more like the real deal, they don't want people to view you that way. So they could do things in that regard, not like illuminating to people in the world that you were this loving or nurturing or encouraging person who just wanted to be treated like your own individual person instead of having to maybe make your life all about their life or something. Or they might do things purposely to try to hurt you. I'm just looking, I don't really see it here in the cards, but I've just lived it. So, what's coming up for the people who harness a more worldly or shadowy Leo energy that they might not see coming up? Let me check. I can't tell if a card flipped or not. Nope. Okay, let's keep going. What's coming up for the people who harness a more worldly or shadowy, egoic Leo energy? Okay. I had a card flip in the middle, the Ten of Swords. Because of the Ten of Pentacles and the Emperor. So, Aries energy can be about the self. The high vibe people ended up harnessing a more high vibe Aries energy to be inspired to become more independent, to be a leader in the world, and all these other zodiac signs and high vibe energy. Some of the people who thought they would backstab and betray you and your foundation would fall down, you wouldn't love and believe in yourself, you'd maybe drive your life off into the ditch or something, or that you would give up on believing in your dreams, they did not see coming that some people would complete a cycle. The tens in high vibe is about completing a cycle. That you worked through all the thoughts, you got down to that last Two of Swords. I love these people. I want these people to move forward with me in this way. But you saw the truth. They aren't willing to move forward in that new way. And you offered them love. Love was the answer. Love helps us heal. I wish you peace, love, and joy, but I can't live my life like that. And I'm not going to keep enabling people in poor behavior. And I'm going to temper my own fears and insecurities about becoming independent of you. Some people already did it, and the people were shocked. Some people are just doing it now. How are the high vibe people doing this? Their foundation harnessed high vibe, Virgo, and Aries energy to bring that foundation down. I am not going to keep aligning with a foundation that is acting shadowy. And they were bold and brave enough to do it. They believed in their own foundation enough based on the lessons they've learned. I've been in relationships with people who kind of treated me the way you are treating me now, and that's not okay, and I'm not repeating that pattern. You might want to pull some shit all of a sudden. Oh, I bet they've, probably stayed in and we could put up with shit for a long time in a relationship, even if it's subtle. You can have friends where anytime you call them or whatever, they never have time to talk, and the only time that you really talk is when they decide they want to talk, and then you, because you like them, you talk to them, like on the phone or something. But eventually you kind of get tired of getting backstabbed over and over, that if you ever take action to want to reach out or go do something, no, I'm the boss. It's only when I want to do it. It's like, okay. And eventually it's like, you know what? I'm going to just let you have some other friends, and I'll go find some other friends or invest in the different friends that I have. Because I feel like I'm being backstabbed and betrayed. This isn't love. This is someone who's living more from their mind and their heart, is maybe trying to manipulate me and control me, and I'm done. And some of the shadowy people did not see that coming at all. And that you would harness this high vibe energy instead of being about yourself and your ego and your image and your fear and your insecurity. You harness high vibe Aries energy. No, I am motivated and inspired to go have a new beginning. And I'm going to go have a new beginning with other people who are in that energy. I am done being in a relationship or a workplace or a friendship with people who harness this energy in a shadowy way. Shadowy Leo, we're talking about, Virgo and Aries. Your long-term goal is where it's either more about you or your ego or your image or being indulged or money and materialism or something, but it's certainly not love. And for a long time, I might not have wanted to see the truth or believe that about you. But once we kind of can distance ourselves from some people to get some perspective, and then we see the action that they take, it kind of makes it clear that they're not who we thought they were. And some people are shocked that people saw the truth. That's what the tower is about. You saw the truth in my foundation. You could have been trying to love and encourage me to love and believe in myself and work through some of my issues, but I'm not going to do it. And eventually people are like, I see the truth of it. You're not going to do it. And I shouldn't try to change someone. You have the right to live your life whatever way you want. I wish you peace. The only person I can change is me, and I'm going to go change me. And I'm going to go invest in people who are on the same page as me. And maybe that's why I got in a relationship with you, is because maybe before I wasn't really listening to my intuition. And I kept thinking I could change other people. Now, if I meet people who are defensive or prideful or whatever, even if I'm attracted to them, they're staying in the friend category. I've already been in relationships with people who free willingly are like that in their life. And I don't think I'm some magical creature. God's been working with them the whole time to get them to close out that cycle. And they keep choosing not to. I'm not going to think I'm more powerful than God. If that's how they keep being in the world, which maybe isn't very just, very fair, very loving, hey, you do you, boo. And I'm moving on. Another thing they might not see coming, some of these people have already moved on to other relationships and they're repeating the same pattern with someone else. That might not turn out the way they want. If they're unwilling to get out of their pride and ego and admit that they have some lessons to learn and that they maybe need to temper their ego, they're going to keep repeating this pattern and wanting to keep staying in denial of the truth of it. It's free will choice. The truth sets us free. Some people are like, I don't want to see the truth. And they might have another relationship with someone who wanted to move forward with them in a long-term foundation, but they weren't willing to get out of their ego. Another thing they might not see coming is someone else might be like them and they also weren't willing to grow or heal or mature themselves. And they want to be in a relationship with this person. Why? Maybe because of those traits, qualities, or characteristics about them that maybe think they can act in this kind of stubborn, prideful, manipulative way. Maybe they got money, status, image, social clout, attractive. Well, we're human beings. We want to be in a relationship with people who kind of have those things. Other people could come to get in a relationship with them because they have lessons learned from them. And if so, this relationship, if they heal and grow and mature themselves, they'll get out of it eventually too. But they might get someone to get in a relationship with them who's on the same page as them. I too do not want to take more bold, brave, creative action in my life. I also don't want to have a new beginning or step out of my comfort zone. I want to do life like this, and you seem to do life like this. Let's do life like this together. And that would be a just and fair relationship. They're in a relationship with someone like themselves, who might be more living from their mind and not very connected in with their heart or their emotions or their intuition. But they're willing to indulge someone just to maybe be in a relationship out of fear, insecurity, codependency. They might be all about themselves or bossy or controlling too. And it's all trying to get them. If they don't want to grow and heal and mature themselves or be more just or fair or more loving, well, then it's just and fair that they get in a relationship with someone who has some of the same viewpoints on life as them. And that might be when they realize, oh shit, that didn't work out the way I planned. But they might stay in it anyway, even though they feel like they backstabbed and betrayed themselves, even if they're in a relationship with someone who kind of backstabs and betrays them. If they're very much about ego and image and money and materialism, and with that person they have those things, or the status or the image or power or influence that they want, they might be willing to stay in it because that's what drives or motivates them. And they're willing to sacrifice a more emotionally mature, stable, grounded, passionate life and people because they really want those things. But the only thing is, they're probably going to have to be the only person who's going to want to stay in a relationship with them is someone else who doesn't want to grow and heal and mature themselves. And so we might have some people that get in a relationship, but they're more about themselves. It's not love. But I'm codependent. Are you codependent? You want to stay in the relationship? Yeah, I don't want to be single. I'd have to learn how to love myself and believe in myself. No, let's stay in the relationship. Or, this is good for my ego and image. You think it's good for your ego and image? Yeah, this works for me. Okay. Let's neither one become independent of our emotionally defensive, egoic, fearful, codependent addictions. Let's keep backstabbing and betraying ourselves together. We're on the same page. And that would be a just and fair relationship. What's unjust is for someone who kind of does view life from this more worldly or shadowy way to try to get someone who does have hope and faith and belief and love and is loving and giving and nurturing, to try to get them to give up their dreams and stay in a relationship with them when they're not that type of person themselves. But some people try to create that illusion so that people will get in the relationship, and then they hope if they get them in the relationship, even once the people find out the truth about them, that they'll just stay in it because of their ego. And it's kind of like the devil had one person manipulated, and because someone got in a relationship or married them or took that job, they're hoping to snag a high vibe person too and get them imprisoned because they're in their ego about becoming independent of it. But we adhere to a higher truth and justice, not these things of the world. When someone isn't who they said they were, when people are acting unjust, unfair, when it could seem like someone was lying the whole time, kind of committing fraud, no, I'm becoming independent of this judge away world, because you were going to judge away anyway, depending on the type of person you were. So you judge me based on how you judge people. I think the high vibe people know they don't know everything that goes on behind closed doors. And if people seem to be acting with character and integrity and love, and they're moving forward in an emotionally balanced, loving way, hey, good for you. And that might be also what ends up kind of eventually being seen by other people, because you can try to confuse people about the truth, and you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And eventually people see who are the people who have hope and faith and belief in themselves and in love and acting like in an inspiring, creative, character and integrity manner, and who are the people that kind of seem to be driven by other things. And the people who might have thought, no, this is the way to do things, just like we all did, pride comes before the fall. But some of these people who thought they were going to come out like the victor and that they could force the wheel of fate without listening to their intuition, being just, being fair, acting with character and integrity, I think with the Ten of Swords, there's going to be a lot of people in their world who don't view them the way they used to view them. And they see the truth, that they can be these bossy or controlling or all about themselves or materialistic people or really overindulgent people. And people will see the truth eventually. The truth always comes to light. So there you go, Aries energy. Oh no, that's not Aries. Leo. Because of the Emperor card there. I wish you peace, love, and joy. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.